Philip Strelly is 35. He has spent 25 years of his life in hospital. Leslie Ryder has been shut away from the outside world since 1929, when he went to live at Normansfield Hospital. Now, at the age of 67, going shopping, handling money, walking in the streets are all new experiences for him. And for John Hadley, sharing a family meal is something he's always been denied. He's spent 19 of his 22 years in hospital.
There you go. You hold it. You're the cook, not me.
All three have some form of mental handicap and share the same common experience of living in large hospitals. They also share something else. Each has an advocate. An advocate is a volunteer who enters into a long-term friendship with one other person and represents the interests of that person as if they were their own. John Hadley's advocate is Maureen Ronksley.
There are two roles, really. One of them is to befriend him and give him a lot of affection. But the second, well, I think the primary role is to be his spokesman and see that he gets all the benefits that are due to him, and to give him as normal a life as possible where he lives. It was difficult to choose someone, but I'd made up my mind I'd choose someone who didn't come up to me first, because there's lots of gregarious residents in the hospital. I was going to find one that didn't seem very friendly, and he wasn't. He really wasn't. He pushed me away. He didn't really want to be friends at all. And I just kept visiting him, and eventually took him for a cup of tea in the grounds in the Friends Centre, and brought him home eventually for a visit.
She's brought John a little out of himself. He does tend to mix a little more with the other residents now, whereas before he would sit alone. He would never sort of communicate in any way or show any signs of friendship towards them. Now, in actual fact, he teases the other boys on occasions. He enjoys Maureen coming to see him. He looks forward to this. He gets quite upset if she comes and she does not actually take him out at that minute in time.
John Hadley lives at St Ebba's Hospital in Beach Bungalow, a semi-secure ward for young men categorised as disturbed. For people like John, who have nobody in the outside world, advocacy means having for the first time somebody who's not only a friend, but who will speak for them in a way that they cannot.
John? Bobby.
Getting impatient, John. Eat the meat, please. And some bread, if you want. Yeah. One piece at a time. So split it. Oh, it's really nice. When I first became an advocate, I didn't really discuss it with my family. I should have done maybe, but I didn't. And it's marvellous the way that they've rallied round and accepted John, because they are about the same age as him. So when they come up and their friends come up to the house, he just falls in with whatever they're doing. And before he had an advocate, he didn't have a social life unless it was in the ward, an outing with the ward. But now he does. He goes swimming and horse riding, because he needs someone with him for both, although the horse riding is in the grounds. So he comes home several times. Twice a week he comes home. And his clothes, I think that's been made a great difference. The sort of clothes he used to wear were very degrading, the ward clothes. And I took him out. He bought it with his own money, but I helped him to choose a whole new wardrobe of clothes, and he wears those every day now. You put it in. There's your jumper. Right, what about these jeans?
Simple things like going out to the shops, spending your own money, buying your own clothes are all denied to a large number of people living in institutions. Because their handicap may stop them from doing these things that we take for granted, they have little power to control their own lives.
Shirt. That's right, pull your jeans in. Oh, you've worn lots of clothes, haven't you, since Thursday? Got more clothes than I have. Nice shirt.
For John Hadley, advocacy is about someone who is only interested in him. And Maureen, in partnership with him, is concerned with every aspect of his daily life. Her aim is to make sure that he receives all the benefits and entitlements that are his by right, and to broaden his outlook by giving him the opportunity to try new things which he can never experience in hospital. But also, she is concerned with the treatment he receives in that hospital.
My main difficulty that I have is trying to get everyone at the hospital to realise how important John is to me, and that I need to know everything about him that's happened, however small. And most people will tell me now. For instance, if he's had an epileptic fit, that they tell me. But there's just a few people still haven't really got, not on the ward, but don't really understand about advocacy, don't realise that I like to be there if he's having any therapy to see what's happening, and I'm willing to help to carry on that therapy when he gets to my home.
Nearly half of the people who live in mental handicap hospitals are women. Like the rest of the hospital population, they share large, crowded dormitories. There is no way the staff can give them the individual attention to which they're entitled.
Where an advocate could come in would be to give individual attention to each of the ladies, to be somebody who's just here for them, not being shared like us staff, but just there to see that one person, not interested in anybody else, just that one lady. There's 18 ladies living here at the moment and 2 staff on a shift. So that tells you immediately what life is like for them. They're all very dependent ladies as well, you see, and so they all need everything doing for them. So share us a great deal and get very little of our time. Most of these ladies are not visited. Most of them are not. Some of the parents are absolutely wonderful. Week after week they come to visit, and when they come they speak to all the other ladies as well. They don't concentrate their attention just on their own child. But most of the ladies are not visited, no.
50,000 people live in mental handicap hospitals. Over 1/3 have no visitors. In 1978, the government stated that the most important factor in safeguarding the position of vulnerable patients and ensuring that their rights are upheld is personal contact between the patient and someone whose job it is to explain the position from the patient's point of view. Advocacy is an attempt to put this into action. It is 55 years since Leslie Ryder came to live in Normansfield Hospital in Middlesex. Ernest and Ida Curtis have been his joint advocates for just 9 months.
We had great misgivings at first. We went along to training programmes and we thought, well, we'll never be able to do any of it. It'll be all too much for us. And then we were invited, towards the end of our training programme, we were invited to go out on a day's outing to Chessington Zoo. So we met the bus at Normansfield and we followed the bus in our own car with 2 other would-be advocates.
It was pouring with rain. Terrible day.
By the time we got to Chessington, the rain was absolutely falling down.
Now, the advocacy had said to us, you no need to worry about choosing or being chosen. It will click. And no way could we see this happening from what we'd seen when we visited Normansfield, but in actual fact, it did click, didn't it?
Yes, But while we were at Chessington Zoo, I was given Leslie to look after because he would be fairly easy for me to look after. He would hold my hand, he would do as I told him. It stopped raining after a while, and we were able to take Leslie out on our own, just Ernest and I. With Leslie, we then went into the Children's Zoo, and up to this time Leslie hadn't said a word to us at all. He'd been interested in everything, but he hadn't said anything at all. And then we took him to the Children's Zoo, and we went round and we pointed out each animal to him, and he did then repeat the name of all the animals to us, so we knew then that he could talk. And this was our first real breakthrough with him. And it was then a few more weeks before we decided that, yes, Leslie was right for us. And we had, as they said, clicked with Leslie. He liked us, we liked him. But that was still only the very beginning of any sort of a relationship.
It's basically a one-to-one relationship. That is the object of Advocacy Alliance, so that one person to one resident. But as we are both interested, it was accepted that we would be a team, and a husband and wife team, and welcome Leslie into a relationship which is more of a family relationship.
Oh, certainly, yes. There we are. Les, you're good.
This we've had to rethink our own way of going out and about. It's all very new to Leslie. He's been out, of course, in the bus from the hospital, but he hadn't been into a private car, we don't think, for quite a long time. About 4 o'clock.
Bye then.
Yeah, for tea time. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
He'd never seen a supermarket before. We had trouble through the turnstiles first of all because he'd never seen a turnstile before. He was absolutely intrigued with all the counters and with the fact that he could pick up some fruit and he could weigh it in the scales himself and then put it into his basket.
We find that it's difficult for him to accept things. He is reluctant to accept a gift, but we feel this is because he lacks the ability to defend his possessions, and quite often in a place like Normansfield, where you've got lots and lots of people, other people take a liking to something and walk off with it. We get to recognise his responses by watching his eyes and watching his facial expression.
With wine.
With wine.
That's right. And it costs £1.08.
I'm beginning to understand what he's feeling, yes. I don't always know what he wants, but we're getting on in that direction, yes.
We
can see that he's trying to talk to us now. He will try to mouth the words to us. I think he knows that he's in a place where there are other people, and his manners are always very good.
Great. Put it in the basket. Lovely. Cold on the market, I thought, yes. Hello.
Good afternoon.
I think the only difficulty with him is that probably when he's back at his house, the food is there for everybody, and it's first come, first served, much like children will be at a children's party. They'll grab every cake in sight, but now he's beginning to understand that if he takes one cake from the plate, the rest of them will still be there when he's finished that one. If he wants a second one, he's very free to have it. And he's beginning to understand this.
One of the other policies of advocacy, of course, is the fact that the residents are encouraged to use their own money. And this can be difficult if residents have never had the opportunity to. So wherever we go out now, as Arda said, we give him the money and he pays for it. And hopefully, eventually when we have other visits, he will have money in his pocket, and we'll encourage him to take the money out and give it over to the counter. We're very pleased when we see things improving in Leslie, because it means to say that he's taken his rightful place in the world. Simple task to us, but a very big step in the future for him.
What Ida is doing needs a lot of courage. Courage because to leave your own home environment, devote your own spare time to a resident who has been more or less left. If you go around the country, everywhere you'll find a resident the type of Leslie who needs help and support from community.
Don't drop any of it this time. You dropped Hold your hand out flat.
£2.19.
Hold your hand out flat. That's right. Thank you very much, Lorraine.
There's your receipt.
There we are.
Careful.
Okay, don't worry about it. Oh, we're going to pick it all up. Well done, Leslie. Thank you very much. Say bye-bye to Lorraine. Thank you very much, Lorraine.
Bye.
Goodbye, Lorraine.
The main thing is, of course, that as an advocate, we can put to the authorities improvements or suggest improvements which might be compatible with their monetary expenditure or may not. It depends entirely. And if it's not, then we look to means to provide the monetary funds.
"25 years after being taken into hospital, mundane household activities mean freedom for Philip Strelley. Colin May became his advocate 5 months ago.
And how did you meet Philip? How did you choose him?
Well, during the course, well, it wasn't actually a course, it's an evening thing, isn't it, once a week? We met on the ward. We had a tour of the ward and everything at the hospital. And we just became attached to each other. And he was showing me all around all the different beds and showing everybody's names and everything. But it was great, you know. And since then, I've sort of...
Where did you down? No, it was down, no?
Eh?
Where was you down?
You showed me where your bed was, didn't you? Yeah.
It was my ear.
Yeah, and with Alan.
Yeah.
Next to you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You can play your mouth organ there if you want to.
Yeah.
Go on then. Give us a tune. That's the wrong end. You can't open that end. That's it. It's a bit difficult to open, isn't it? That's it. Go on then, give us a little tune. Can't hear you. It's a bit loud. Is that what you play in the band?
Yeah.
Is it? What, on Friday?
Yeah.
What time do you go to the band then?
3.
3 o'clock?
Yeah.
3:30?
3.
Oh.
My tea, huh?
Oh, you have your tea first?
By her house, see?
What, with Alan?
Yeah.
Do you? Oh, so lots of other people in the band, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
What does being an advocate mean?
Looking after Philip, I think, more than anything, making sure he gets, you know, everything that's available to him. You know, to become a friend. I think which is more important, because having no contact with anybody at all, I mean, just, I suppose, hopefully it improves his life and, you know, gives a lot more people to meet him. All my friends have met him, haven't they?
Yeah.
You've met my sister and my friends from work, haven't you?
Yeah.
They all come to your birthday party, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Had some fun. And each week we do different things and we're taking places he's never been to before, like...
my dad before, yeah.
He's never had his hair cut outside the actual hospital before, which I took him to have it done.
And
he just loved it, you know.
Yeah.
It's little things like that which improve his life. He goes to a therapy...
No anymore.
You don't do it anymore, do you?
No.
Oh,
So
sorry.
you see it done, no? No, barn.
You go to the hut every day, don't you?
What?
Do you go to the hut with your friends every day?
Fee, huh?
Yeah.
Fee, huh?
Yeah. You go with Alan?
Yeah,
what? And you do the...
The sit down, huh?
You do the wall, don't you?
Sit down.
Eh?
Sit down, huh?
Who done that?
Me.
Did you?
No, been, huh? Dinner, huh? Tea, huh? Dinner, huh?
What, you do all the washing up, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
See?
Ah.
Bar.
But he does involve himself.
To my
you
bed
know,
down,
does
see?
quite a lot at the hospital.
Well, when they had that session earlier, you know, during the course and that, and Colin, there just seemed to be a blend between them somehow. Don't know why. I don't know how Colin knew that this was the one boy that I thought, you know, amongst all of mine, I know quite a few of them do require this type of contact, but Philip, I thought, wanted it more than the rest, and somehow him and Colin clicked. Well, he seems more confident. Beforehand, he seemed to crave for attention. When other residents would get a visit, he would be the first one up there, and it's my friend, and he's introducing himself and etc. to these people. But since Colin has come now, he still occasionally comes up to other
if his friends, relatives, and will introduce himself, but he'll say, I've got a friend now, and then he'll go away quite happily.
Friendship is fundamental, but advocacy is much more than that. As well as taking Philip into his family, Colin may have to fight for his rights. So, to help them, all advocates receive training and continuing advice and support.
What support do you get from the Advocacy Alliance?
I get a great support. We have meetings once or twice a month. We discuss all the problems we've had. Not that there's any problems at all, but we discuss things, you know, in general, and things that are going to happen.
Dad.
What's that? Birthday card?
Yeah.
Let's have a look then. How many did you get? You should know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's the half of one. Where's the other half one? Oh, it's the half of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't want to lose them though, do you?
No.
We've got another one in here.
No.
What about your family and friends? What do they think of all this?
Oh, they're great. My mother gets on ever so well, and my father actually. But my mother especially, she, you know, I think she's getting quite attached to him. But my friends, you know, they just accept him. They're very good, very good.
What do you get out of it?
A feeling that I'm doing something to
Chihuahua.
help, you know.
Hey,
I've,
Mama, Chihuahua.
Who's that from?
A chi.
Who?
Chihuahua. A chi. A chi.
Oh, it's from Keith.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Chihuahua.
Who's on in the envelope, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you've got all the other ones.
Yeah, my done.
All right, then.
A Chihuahua. A Chihuahua.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Keep it there then. I'm getting pleasure out of it. That's the main thing, which is the most important, I think, and giving something that Philip would otherwise not have, you know, if it wasn't for this sort of thing.
At the end of the day, Philip returns to St Lawrence's, his home for 25 years. One of the long-term aims of advocacy, however, is to enable people like Philip Strelley and Leslie Ryder and John Hadley to live outside the hospital and in the community if they wish. Advocacy involves a long-term commitment, and it's a special person who becomes an advocate. But Colin May, Ernest and Ida Curtis, Maureen Ronksley and their fellow advocates do not regard themselves as anything other than ordinary people whose own lives have been enriched just as much.
Well, you think of it as quite a big burden to take on. You know, if any of us sitting here think about it, you're going to take on a person whom you've never met in your life before, and to try and give them a happy life, bring them into your family, you know, it is a big burden, I reckon. And it takes a special person to be able to do that.
And both of you, I mean, you're almost retired couple now. You could afford to sit back and
Well,
just think about yourselves.
I'm retired. I've been retired 2 years, but...
We could afford to sit back and think about ourselves, yes, but we're active, nearly 60-year-olds. I'm an active, nearly 60-year-old.
Old age pensioner.
Nearly. But no, we don't want to sit back. We feel that we are still young enough to help people that are less fortunate than ourselves. We have a lot to give to people, and there must be a lot of other people who could also give something of themselves to people that are less fortunate than themselves.
Conversely, of course, these people give to us.
Yes.
We get as much from them as we hope they get from us.
We try to analyse what we get from visiting Normansfield. We haven't yet been able to analyse it, but we certainly get something from it. We enjoy going there. We love meeting them all. It's... I don't know, it's very hard to explain. There's so much... They've got so little in their lives, and yet they've got so much. And there's so much scope for making friends with people there.
But in the short term, I just want to make his life even better and to fill the time with more interests. And in the long term, I would like him to learn to speak. I'd like to help to do that. And I'd like him to move into a home. I would like to raise the money, if I could, to have one of his own, a home of his own, to share with 3 or 4 of the residents and staff. But I'd want him to be the only one who was classed as disturbed, so that he was with the higher grade residents and ones that weren't disturbed.
I think that he will now be accepted by the outside community more than he ever was before. He now can fit in because he is now used to the sort of life that Maureen can show him, whereas before he was an isolated person. He ran away from crowds. He would never mix. Maureen now takes him out into the local towns, into her own home. He mixes with people a lot more. And I can see him living much more of a normal life.
Do you think that would imply that he could live outside of St Ebba's at some point?
The possibility is there. I think this is far in the future, but I think there is a possibility that John could, yes, in the far distant future, live and exist in the outside world.
There are so many boys and girls at St Ebba's who need advocates. They need friends of some kind, and I think there's as many as 300 residents who haven't got anyone at all to visit them, a relative or a friend. They don't see anyone outside of the people who live and work at the hospital.
Hello, Molly.
Hi.
John!
John? Hello, John.
Hey.
Would you take him through, Josie?
Come on, John. Okay, bye.
Advocacy assumes that the advocate and the person they befriend and who befriends them are equally important and have a lot to give each other. John Hadley and the thousands like him have been denied any influence over their own lives for too long. They have been forced to live on the edge of society.
How are you? Eh? Look, Denise. Say hello, Denise.
Hello. Give me a kiss.
Advocacy is a way of helping them to acquire personal power and have control over their own lives. Like the rest of us, John needs family and friends. He needs the ordinary things that we take for granted. John is setting out on the road to self-determination and a full life. Advocacy can offer the same for thousands of others who have previously been denied it.
Okay. Don't eat it. Well, right. What about the star? Let's see if we can find a star. See if you can put it in, John. Try. Oh, that's good. It went in, didn't it? Oh, there's that hard one again. Is that it? Oh, that was good. That went in quickly.
If you would like any further information, there is a leaflet to accompany the programme. Please send a stamped addressed envelope to Advocacy Alliance, care of Open Space, BBC Television, London W12 8QT.